My name is Barbara Burton, and this is my vlog for eps415. It's an international F1 student pre-departure orientation using a VR simulation quest game. It's called My College Journey in the U.S. Institutions of higher education in the U.S. are increasingly turning to international student populations to fill the empty seats that are left behind as our population of traditional college-age students declines. However, recent changes in immigration policy by the U.S. government resulted in a net decline of by 17% in the numbers of F1 or student visas. This is according to the NAFSA, National Association of Student Affairs, International Educator, May-June edition 2018. So institutions themselves are becoming more competitive in promoting and marketing themselves to the students. And the U.S. government also has a vested interest in trying to appeal to this population, which may seem at odds given the strict application of visa regulations at this time. But international students are very important to the United States. And the idea that there are U.S. benefits to hosting international students is still popular. This is often because at U.S. campuses they pay a premium price for tuition compared to the domestic counterparts. In addition, international students help to diversify the campus and bring immense value to the campus. They bring the world to the door of the campus. So they provide a healthy influx of opinions and ideas that may not be available within the domestic student population. As a country, international students at U.S. institutions have long represented one of the most significant ways that the U.S. can engage in what has been called scholarship diplomacy. This is a term that has been talked about a lot, but the hope is that students will learn to love their alma mater, the way of life in the United States, and take that love home back to their home country and still have warm and friendly feelings and engage with people in the United States, and this enhances our chance for friendship. In addition, many of the people who get U.S. degrees become high-level officials and people in business in their home countries, so for the United States it's sometimes an advantage to have that kind of a tie to people in other countries. So this is a VR pre-departure orientation. It's a simulation game, and it's for international students who may be teetering on the brink of whether or not they're going to study in the United States. So the proposal is to provide this in a virtual reality simulation game format through a fleet of magic buses that are outfitted with the latest technology and used as mobile labs to travel within regional territories of the State Department's 425 U.S. Education USA centers that are located within 170 countries. This is the U.S. government's official arm that tries to recruit international students and help equip them with the things that they need in order to attend U.S. universities. So these buses would be available on scheduled days to provide this virtual reality simulation game. And this experience would serve as a pre-departure orientation for prospective international students. Now we know that research on domestic students shows very clearly that orientation and first-year experience programs have a very strong impact, positive impact on retention, completion, and so on. So we hope that success. So the idea is that this will do the same for international students, and also in this case help them understand and be more interested in attending school in the United States. The educational content would be general enough that it could be useful for any student planning to study on an F1 visa in the U.S. In particular, there would be the bus itself, which would be like a chat room, and would be filled with quote-unquote seats. There would be a ticket, which would be your login to get on, and students would be forced to converse with each other in English, providing reinforcement in English practice. This would also mean a need for simultaneous translation in order to facilitate this. In addition, there would be bus stops, and this is where more specific content would be covered. And this would allow also U.S. institutions to buy into this system, and they might be a bus stop of their own so that they could say, and if you'd like to see how the University of Illinois does it, or how Illinois Central College does it, you can stop at this bus stop and check it out. So the bus stops and the experiences therein, plus the experiences in the bus itself, constitute the virtual reality game, and they achieve points by completing the tasks that are assigned in those various venues. So they would basically go through this program and use virtual reality and use this bus as a vehicle, a way of providing this virtual reality program. The various areas of learning that are planned on the bus schedule would include a variety of things, and this is not the only thing that it might be. Provide a welcome to the United States, a description of education in the United States and the kinds of institutions that we have, a short summary of immigration and visa rules and regulations, an orientation to life in the U.S., an orientation to college expectations. Many institutions overseas, questions are not allowed, people don't talk, you can't bring your lunch to class, things like that. A short orientation to personal hygiene U.S. style, and I say this because sometimes this might apply to scholars as well, and if they're, or even graduate students, and if they're thrown into a professional situation, it's good to know what the expectations are for professionalism in terms of personal hygiene. Provide a short orientation to campus housing, cleaning, and condition, and this is because not everybody's sense of place and what's expected there is the same. So when they go into their housing unit, they kind of know what it should look like when they leave it. Provide a short orientation to the matriculation process. This is confusing for U.S. students. At least they could see the faces, they could see the different offices that they have to go to and understand why and what they're supposed to do in each place. It also provides an opportunity for conversation among those on the bus so they can get to know each other on a first name basis, and create community and engagement. These are all things that are positively associated with retention and completion. It requires the use of English, so this is another thing that would help in terms of helping to reinforce the use of English, which almost every institution in the U.S., the medium of instruction is English. Students could enjoy tours of sites and attractions that surround the institution. So there's a lot of things that could take place at these bus stops. For example, if there were an ICC version that would be paid for by our college as a client of Education USA, it would allow us to promote our brand and be very specific about the particular needs as they pertain to admission to ICC for F1 students. Further, when a student receives an I-20, that's a document that allows a student to go to the consulate and get an F1 visa or apply for an F1 visa, it would basically allow them to move seamlessly into the first year experience programs when they arrive on campus. So obviously the big picture here would have implications for things such as the classroom.